told us she has no idea who Mike is.
Mike. I don't know who you are. I don't know where you are. But your man.
Which brings us to one of my favorite channels and content creators on the internet. His name is Bad Empanada. And I disagree with Bad Empanada on a number of topics. But I want you to understand something, chat. I don't care. I don't care. Where Bad Empanada and I disagree, you know what my feeling is? Humility. My feeling is he's probably right, but he shouldn't say that. My feeling is I want to prove you wrong. Like some of the things I disagree with him is his opinion of the American left. He's probably right about the current American left, but I'm not going to give up. And I feel like some of his arguments can kind of put people into a kind of self-defeating spiral of pessimism. But it doesn't mean he's wrong. What is my final thoughts on Gary Stevenson? He seems interesting content creator. I think he and I would happily work with him to build a new left-wing movement. You know, he seems like he's an intelligent guy, and I like the fact that he made a bunch of money in Wall Street so he could hold it over the heads of every right-wing content creator and be like, I understand markets better than you. I got rich from it. Which is just like the ultimate, like, own for any right-winger. I'll be looking into him more.
Because I didn't know about the H3 podcast and shit. Well, the only thing I'd ever seen about the H3 podcast was Ethan Klein saying that women are to be conquered, implying that like it's natural for men to rape women, which was interesting. And aside from that, I knew nothing about it until this whole Palestine-Israel thing. So everything that I've seen of the podcast, it's like they cover like Justin Bieber relationship paparazzi shit for like 5 minutes, and the rest of the podcast is Ethan Klein like pointing to people who he wants his audience to harass and doxing random people. Literally nothing but that. It's like a interactive, organized mass harassment / doxing experience and nothing else. Like he dedicated his entire last episode to telling people to go and harass Matt Lieb, who is a member of a show that I control called Good Mythical Morning, and like trying to get him fired, which isn't going to work because I own the show, Ethan. His entire episode, apart this, you know, regardless of the title, it was like half of it at least was dedicated to telling his fans to go and harass Matt Lieb and the owners of Good Mythical Morning to get him fired from the show. They had this random Ukrainian crew member who they hired just so that they could have a token Ukrainian to say bad things about Hasan, do like a 15-minute long segment talking to Hasan Piker. Then Ethan watched a clip, and I'm going to show this, of one of his fans tracking down the Twitch CEO, Dan Clancy, in real life and harassing him on Ethan's incitement, one step away from like an actual physical attack happening at his incitement. And Ethan Klein watched this clip as if it was something positive. Like this is something commendable, rather than him literally doxing people on his podcast. Like if anyone else was doing what he was doing, they would be banned from YouTube already. But, you know, he still has a little bit of good grace, clearly, with like the YouTube staff. So they're clearly holding him to a different standard. So they're just letting him do this shit. Even though it's like, literally, like this person was right behind the fucking guy, behind him, tracked him down in real life, got behind him into a position where if she wanted to, she could have killed him. She could have attacked him. This is the sort of thing that Ethan Klein has been attempting to incite this whole fucking time by running a podcast that cannot be described, because they don't do anything else, basically. It's a bit of celebrity gossip in order to pretend their podcast has a point, and then pointing out people for his fans to harass. And this is the result. And he praises this behavior.
All right.
He praises it, which will result in more of it.
All right. First of all, I don't know where this was taken, but someone was next to Dan Clancy at some kind of event and did some journalism on him. They journalized his ass.
Journalized?
I want to say this person who approached him publicly was very professional, in my opinion.
Yeah.
She asked him direct questions. He answered, and then when he answered, she said, "Thanks for your time," and walked away. I do not want people harassing anyone in public, right? Like,
that's what this fucking was. Someone harassing him on your incitement and then posting a video of it for your approval, which you then give them. This is literally like organized real life harassment at this point.
Like, he's the CEO of a company. He's a public figure. He should be accountable for things that his business is doing. But this person did not harass him, in my opinion. And I don't think people should harass Dan
Your
Clancy
entire show is organized harassment, organized interactive harassment.
Oh, Clancy.
Dan Swerdlove's another story.
Hey Dan, do you have any comment on why you won't let Ethan Klein stream on your platform?
He is
The
streaming on the
Hasan content nuke?
He is.
Why he got banned twice?
It got reversed.
It got reversed, but it was like it was not an automatic ban. Do you have any comment on that?
No comment.
No comment? All right, good to know. Appreciate it.
Dude, I feel so uncomfortable. The fact that he responded so fucking fast.
He really knew. What
He was like,
up there.
boom.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, I mean, obviously.
he didn't even have time to like feign like, oh, yeah, I'll have to look into that. I don't know.
What do you mean I didn't even have time? Like, he's approving of this behavior. Then he has like, what is this? It's like a 40-minute long segment trying to incite like Matt Lieb getting fired. And he's done way worse than that. Like, he's gone after random fucking people live on his stream, like, who just leave mean comments on his Instagram. Not even like comments that could warrant it, like, you know, a death threat or like actual like racial slurs or some shit like that. What the guy did that caused him to dox them and their family, which resulted in H3H3's fans, obviously exactly as Ethan wanted, harassing the guy and sending death threats to his minor sister, his child sister, and his mother. So here's where I covered this 2 weeks ago now. This is like every podcast for him is like Ethan either points to creators who he thinks his fans should harass, or he like points to like random people, totally random people, and he tries to incite harassment on them.
Man, I'm being obsessed with you guys when you only had 15K subs. Glad that's behind me. Enjoy hell. This guy's for real. Joe Coop. Look this guy up. Enjoy hell.
He commands his fans, look this guy up. Here's his real name. Look this guy up. Then he goes to his Instagram. What did he say? I used to be obsessed with you guys, and I'm glad that's behind me. You're going to hell. Go to hell. I mean, okay, great. Nothing wrong with that. You know, he's insulting you and saying go to hell, something that people commonly fucking say to people they don't like. Nothing even remotely worthy of like doxing or like, you know, singling him out for harassment. But what Ethan does immediately is say, Joe Coop, look him up.
Anyone, let's see if I know.
This is Taylor Klein.
It's behind me. Enjoy.
It's on his Instagram, on his fucking podcast. Like, what the fuck kind of podcast is this that you would do this on it? What the fuck?
Hell, Joe Coop said. Let's start David. Here he is. If anyone, let's see if I know. Can I identify?
Let's see if I can identify him. Like, he's the same shit I said in the moment. I'm just repeating myself, as you can see, because it's so fucking obvious what he's doing here. Just fucking said that. If I did this, I would be permanently banned, no questions asked. And Ethan does this like it's nothing. And then he starts scrolling through his Instagram saying, let's see if I can find his family members. Let's see if I can find out where he lives.
Oh shit, that weenie truck he's in front of, that's in Dearborn.
And then fucking capo, AB, I don't know, what's his name, Abdul? I'm going to go with Abdul. What the fuck else could AB mean? AB Ayad, Abdul Ayad. I'm going to guess that's what his name is. This fucking capo who's paid to enable this shit is like, oh yeah, I know where that is. He lives in Dearborn. That's where he lives. If you want to find this guy, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, that's where he lives. As Ethan Klein brings up like pictures of this guy's house and his family, he's like, oh yeah, I know where that is. Just in case you guys want to track him down and find him.
Yeah, I thought I tried.
I mean, it used to in like the 60s.
Look, he just brings up his mother.
Unless there's multiple.
Which one's Joe? Let's see.
Finds a picture of his family. When I was like in my last stream talking about Ethan, I was like, I don't understand the appeal of this podcast. What the fuck is it for? And it's hemorrhaging viewers clearly, but the ones who remain are there because they like the doxing. They like the harassment. They like participating in like interactive harassment campaigns at this guy's command. That's really the only reason for it. It's all about this. Like, they don't even really cover drama. It's like a doxing and harassment podcast, which like occasionally includes like maybe an hour out of like 3 hours talking about like Justin Bieber or some shit to give them an excuse for the other 2 hours, which is just them trying to direct harassment at people they don't like. They do this with everyone. Like, whether it's a creator or like a random person, and Ethan uses Instagram stories to do this even more. It's like a truly 24/7 interactive doxing and group harassment experience. And Ethan tries to claim that it's not doxing because, you know, they have a public Instagram account or something. But that's what doxing really is, at least legally. It can be two things, like colloquially, which is releasing private information that is not public and the person has never made public intentionally at all. Or it can be like sharing someone's personal information, even if it's public, for the purpose of spurring harassment against them. And that is how it is defined in California law. When you dox specifically for the purpose of inciting harassment against someone, you share even public information, like someone's real name, their family members and stuff like that, and you say, look at this guy, go harass him. Or like what Ethan said there, like, look at him, look into him. Let's see if I can identify him. That's when it often becomes illegal. And that's what he did. It's very clearly illegal. Like, his entire podcast is just this, complaining about either creators who he wants people to harass and try to mass report, because all that he can do now is mass report because he's so insane that he's lost whatever clout he used to have with the actual like employees of the platforms. So he can't just point at people and get them banned anymore like he's used to. So he just does mass reporting and like organized harassment. Or like, if it's not a creator, he like doxes and their family members and tells you to like go and contact them, and like their mother and their fucking underage relatives start getting random messages from his fans. I've received like horrible death threats that I went over in my last stream about Ethan that I'm not going to put here because that video almost got taken down by YouTube for including what those people said to me. I had to like appeal it and it remained up. I don't want to risk it again. But like, I have received probably at least 3 to 4 dozen very like descriptive death threats from Ethan Klein fans, often under their real name. A lot of the people who send these seem to be like, they look like their children, which is, I guess, gives you an idea of the sort of audience that Ethan Klein has. So yeah, I mean, that's what his podcast is really dedicated to. Recently, he doxed another random guy who like, just a guy who left a chat message like laughing at him in like the poker live stream chat, which he was apparently reading like a hawk. Here is some fantastic Instagram stories of Ethan Klein doxing a random guy. A guy joking, saying, I called CPS on you, I'm right here. Ethan Klein watching the live chat of this event that he was supposedly participating in like a fucking hawk. Screenshots that, and guess what happened? Guess what he does? He tracks down the guy's Facebook, connects it to his YouTube username, and posts it publicly to direct his fans to like attack this guy in real life.
By the way, the idea that if you have, can I just say this for Ethan Klein to be very, very clear? Ethan Klein thinks that if you have a social media account which can in any way be linked back to a public social media account, that you are now, according to Ethan, a public figure deserving of having your family looked into, and now your family can be contacted. That's what Ethan Klein believes. If you post a comment that says Ethan Klein is bad, Ethan Klein thinks that now makes you a public figure. And therefore it's not doxing.
This is Ethan Klein. This is the entire point of his podcast. Literally posts the guy's Facebook account. This guy is 59 years old with 8 children. And he's still doing this shit. What else is there to say? His podcast is just an organized doxing and harassment, which clearly is not as good. You know, it's not as appealing to people as his whatever they did before he started doing this was, given that he's hemorrhaging viewers, less subs every time, less viewers every time. The ones who remain are there because they are like new viewers who have joined because they like this sort of thing. They love like interactive doxing and harassments. They just want like the guy to tell them who to dox and harass next. Or it's like super fans, like absolute obsessives, who became enamored with them beforehand and who are just going to be there until the end of the day and forever, and they will do whatever he wants.
I think he's really overestimating the number of H3 big H3 fans. I think he's really underestimating the number of people that are actually like big H3 fans. I think a lot of it is people that are more anti-Hasan, that are kind of jumping onto what seems like a relatively large community in order to accomplish their goal of attacking Hasan. I think most of the people that do kind of the most toxic doxing behaviors are really like, you know, either from, you know, right-wing doxing communities and then of themselves, or DGGers, and just kind of more like Hasan snarkers that are jumping into the Ethan beef. And what's really happening is that Ethan Klein's core audience is kind of like falling off, right? Like 40,000 down in the last 14 days is a lot. Wow, that's a lot. And you kind of just see more of a kind of a general decline of subscribers, you know, just kind of general, just a general decline. Did they change how they, this looks like shit now. What did they do? What did Social Blade do? They got rid of all their nice detail. I want to look at the viewership. What the fuck? It looks like shit now. Dude has been working at social media for years, and you would think he'd be able to recognize this. I mean, like, at the end of the day, I think this is fine, because making being an H3 fan kind of embarrassing is in general a good idea.
Because for some reason, like, this weird parasocial shit that they have going on worked on them. And now they just in there forever. They're lifers. What a weird thing to be obsessed with. Anyway, that's what the H3 podcast is. It is the H3 podcast is the doxing and harassment podcast. It's just Ethan Klein points.
They had a subathon last Monday and got 13,000 new members. That's it. That's it.
At people and telling his fans to harass them, like to write emails to their
Hasan
fucking...
has like 70,000 subscribers right now. 13,000 subscriptions is nothing. Like, Hasan is 70,000 without doing a fucking subathon. If Hasan did a subathon, he'd get 100,000. But he got 26K last year. Oof. Views are down 8.7 million from the last 90 days. Down 30%.
And congressmen or whatever, like, it's just endless fucking targeting of people who have criticized him or like joked about him or insulted him or said anything that doesn't like, telling his fans go and harass this person, or telling his fans like, and you know, obviously his fans go and do it, or telling them like, go and get this person deplatformed, go and get them fired. And the fact that this is on YouTube, he's just doing it openly on YouTube. Like, what the fuck is going on here? And honestly, obviously he's being given special treatment. But if I was doing this sort of thing, if I did this sort of thing even once, I would get banned instantly. Not that I would want to do it, because what the fuck kind of content is that? Like, you just fucking direct harassment at people all the time. You're not even critiquing them, not even responding to them, just telling your audience that they're bad and directing them to attack the person. Like, it's one thing if you talk about someone and you criticize what they have said, and this spurs harassment to them. But Ethan Klein doesn't do that. Ethan Klein outright tells his fans to harass people in no uncertain terms. He outright tells his fans to help him dox them. He does dox them. And he does it for no purpose aside from driving harassment towards them. And it needs to be actioned by YouTube, obviously. This podcast is dedicated to doxing, harassment, and nothing else. And it's fucking insane that...
Nothing's going to happen until it becomes a scandal. Until Ethan doxes or harasses the wrong person, and it becomes... And there's, like, actual attention drawn to it. Whether somebody gets hurt because of someone that Ethan Klein is, like, stalking, or somebody... you know, hurts themselves, or, you know, there's a story that can be told about Ethan. So Ethan's is going to keep doing this. He's obviously given special treatment by YouTube. There's no doubt about that, where they basically don't apply the rules to him. It seems that this is kind of common in YouTube, that they have some sort of like problematic creator program where some people just don't have to follow the rules.
It just gets by. Like, what the hell is going on?
Told us she has no idea who Mike is.
Mike. I don't know who you are. I don't know where you are. But your name.